Hello, I'm Brad Sherman from California's best named city, Sherman Oaks. It's an honor to be here with this distinguished panel and to follow Governor Ed Rendell and to be here on an issue that unites John Bolton and Howard Dean. And it is good to be with so many advocates for democracy in Iran. U.S. troops left Iraq after a 9-year presence. However, we still have a responsibility there, and that is for the residents of Camp Ashraf. Secretary Clinton announced an agreement between the government of Iraq and the United Nations on December 2011 on the temporary relocation of MEK members at Camp Ashraf, and she stressed this resettlement must also have the full support of the camp's residents. Clearly, in the way that this agreement is being carried out, it does not have that support. Part of the agreement involved a movement of residents to Camp Liberty near Baghdad. Unfortunately, the government of Iraq has relatively low credibility on this issue, having countenanced the violence against the residents of the camp in recent years. And we know that President Maliki is under pressure or cajoling from the Ayatollahs who run Tehran to not act in good faith. We promised the people of Camp Ashraf that we would protect them from any harm. We should do just that. We have 1,000 women. We have people who have been disarmed by America. We promise to protect them, and that we should do. The area allocated to Camp Liberty has been reduced. We've heard about the concrete walls. This doesn't sound like a refugee camp. It sounds like a forcible relocation to a prison camp, and that's simply wrong. Will the people of Camp Ashraf, if located to Camp Liberty, be allowed to have access to lawyers, to their families? What is the purpose of these relocation plans? And why, most importantly, can't the United Nations staff be allowed to interview residents in Camp Ashraf right now? It sounds like the government of Iraq is cooperating with the regime in Tehran to tighten the noose around the People's Mujahideen of Iran. The solution to this is obvious. The court has seen it. Governor Rendell has seen it as well. I am the lead sponsor of the lead Democratic sponsor. I want to give credit to Ileana Ros-Lehtinen, who is the principal sponsor of House Resolution 231. We introduced it early last year, and it calls for all necessary steps to support the commitments of the United States to ensure the physical protection of the Camp Ashraf residents. Similar provisions were included in the Iran Threat Reduction Act, an act I helped write and helped pass on the floor December of last year. The House approves bill makes it the policy of the U.S. government to urge Iraq to uphold its commitments to ensure continuing the well-being of those residents of Camp Ashraf, to prevent involuntary return to Iran, and not to close Camp Ashraf until the United Nations Commission for Refugees can complete its process, recognize as political refugees the Camp Ashraf residents who do not wish to return to Iran, and that, of course, is all the Camp Ashraf residents. To protect the people of Ashraf, the State Department must work with the United Nations and Iraq for a written protocol. There must be a written protocol that establishes the resettlement of Ashraf's residents, guarantees of their safety by the UN, U.S., and Iraqi government, and without such a clear written agreement, relocating residents to Camp Liberty is a recipe for a human rights catastrophe, similar to what we saw in April 2011. Iraq has an awful lot of oil. It produced $38 billion with the most per year, with the most recent statistics, more now. And yet the United States is still generously providing $2 billion in aid. I don't think we can provide aid to a country that is ignoring its human rights responsibilities. The listing by the State Department is a problem that makes it difficult to provide, to find political asylum for the residents of Camp Ashraf. It encourages Iraq to feel that it does not have to respect human rights. And this designation was not initially reached on the merits. It was done as part of a plan to build goodwill, harmony, and love between Washington and Tehran. How's that working out? And that is why I'm glad to see the court involved and insist that the decision be made based on the facts and the merits and not on some harebrained scheme of misguided diplomats who think that by listing the MEK on the list, they'll somehow create a kumbaya regime in Tehran. At our Foreign Affairs Committee in March of 2011, I pressed Secretary Clinton directly to personally review that court decision. Later that year, I pressed the Secretary to protect the residents of Camp Ashraf. I am still waiting for the State Department. The court is still waiting for the State Department. And it is time for the State Department to do its job. I look forward to the day when the residents of Camp Ashraf live in security and peace, but I especially look forward to the day when they live as full participants in a free, safe, and democratic Iran. Thank you.